Yeah. There is an entirely new economy that is getting created on top of AI. Like that's the thing that I think you and I have always been totally aligned on is how many new opportunities are appearing and that we're seeing being so deep into this, right? There's so many new things layered on top of that AI layer that you can offer, that you can build, that you can create, that you can sell, like you can create services around, you can implement for people. It's just insane when you get into it. Absolutely insane. You still have the same challenges like any other business, like securing customers and selling to customers and this kind of stuff. But in terms of just like opportunity out there, there's an entirely new layer in the economy, the AI layer that you can build on top of and that you can create businesses on top of. It's crazy. And that's just when you say MCP manager, it wasn't even a thing like 12 months ago.
Right.
Like it wasn't even a business opportunity. And now there's like this whole security business you could build on top of MCP. It's just one micro example of like tons of things everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're right. It's a huge opportunity, but it's also the time cycle of opportunity is getting tighter and tighter in the sense that smart people are recognizing, okay, this is a gap and I can fill this gap. But then what's
Yeah.
also happening is the Google DeepMinds and the OpenAIs are also recognizing
Yeah.
that, hey, this is a gap and it's a barrier to people using our services. So
Yeah.
we need to fill it too. And a lot of the stories I read coming out of the Dev Day yesterday were OpenAI just killed Zapier and N8N and all
Mhm.
these kind of smaller agentic companies. And I don't think that's literally true at this point because it's not to the level of development and advancement that all those apps that have been doing it for years or decades are at. But it does highlight the danger in terms of if you're a firm and you're banking on, okay, we're building this agent tool that you can be out ahead and then OpenAI or DeepMind just drops a free tool that all of a sudden does what does what your company does.
Oh, 100%. One of the challenges I didn't mention was yeah, you're going to face a lot of competition. Yes. There's no guarantee your business is going to do well. I'm just saying there is just so many opportunities out there, but competition is just going to be vicious. Absolutely
Yeah.
vicious. I'm in the startup game as well with Help Genie as well, and I'm seeing a few anecdotes there. And my partner sent me an email, a message the other day. He goes, it was like I don't know where he saw it, but it was like an email from someone in a big business. And they said, I don't need any more pilots. I've got 20 people telling me exactly the same thing. I just need someone to just do it for me or just show me the returns immediately. It's yes, okay, you're going to face a lot of competition. There is a lot of opportunity, but you're going to face a lot of competition. It's not going to be easy, but there is opportunity out there. There is so many niches within niches like out there that are appearing all the time. Anyway, like I'm still positive on it. I still think there's a lot of opportunity. Undoubtedly, there is overvalued companies out there. There's fraudsters out there. There's a whole lot of things that you could perceive as bubbling. But in terms of just like the economic shift around this new AI layer, there is so many damn opportunities. It is unbelievable. There are so many. Even just within an existing organization. So it doesn't even need to be some other organization. It could be like there's opportunities within every organization to build new software, for example, like everywhere.
Yeah, yeah, and it's just getting easier and easier to do. Yeah, it's interesting because one of the things I realized is when you jump into this, and I know you had this experience too, that if you come from a data analysis background, there are just certain things you never learn. For example, I never learned Git and GitHub. And so I'm actually going back now and taking a this Net Ninja course on YouTube to just learn the stuff I should have learned if I was doing software development. I would have learned a decade ago or more.
Mm,
And like VS Code now, I do everything in VS Code now with Claude Code. And
mm,
even some of that is some learning about that ID that I'd never done because I did everything in our studio and I just didn't
mm.
have the need for kind of development. And I think you've been 100%, 1,000% right the whole time in terms of app development is something that data analysts will ultimately need and find useful. But I think for most of us, and certainly true for me, there are some weird holes in your education that you need to fill.
I'm so aware of what these things can do, good and bad, that I'm like, I know that even if with all the bad that, and all the hallucinations and all the things they make up, like it's still better than not using them. It's still better to use them extensively than to not use them and try and do everything manually.
Absolutely.
That is going to occur everywhere eventually. That is the message that's going to come down from board members to executives. That is going to filter down whether people like it or not. A lot of people will push back against it with all their might, but this is absolutely going to happen. It will be demand. It's just capitalism, right? Like it's going to be demanded by the shareholders and the stakeholders and all that. It's just going to be demanded all the way down, and then it will be filtered down in all these different and unique ways. And there'll be people, gatekeepers, there'll be people pushing back against it for a number of years to even from today, I feel, but I think it's inevitable at this point, totally inevitable. I was going to actually show you just the contrast between articles that I see on Medium, actually. I might have sent you a couple, but I saw a few the other day. One article said, the executives at Anthropic and OpenAI have lied to us. They've said that everything's going to be written by AI, all code is going to be written by AI. And then it went in depth about how code wasn't always correct and there was more time validating and fixing up crappy code. And I was like, yes, okay, this is all true. But I know in the back of my mind, like it's still faster than what it was before. It's still faster than any other way. And then another article I saw a couple of scrolls down was Claude Code fixed 4 years of technical debt in this piece of software that had been built internally at a business, right? So it's like information warfare out there around this at the moment. But I know from my own personal, and I'm sure you as well, like in general, if you utilize these tools, they do not detract from anyone's job, in my opinion. Like they still require validation and everyone to review exactly what's being done, but it certainly can accelerate with all its cons. It can certainly accelerate everything that you're doing internally, particularly around software and code related things.
Yeah. And especially in that middle portion between the planning and context development and the validation, it just flies through
Yeah.
the implementation phase. And I feel like our relative contributions are going to wax and wane. It's in certain stages. And
Mm.
I'm totally comfortable with that. I have no pride in admitting that it's now just way better than me at DAX and M. And
Yeah.
I still will do stuff on my own just to keep my skills up enough to be able to do the end stuff, the prompting and the validation. But even as this agentic loop stuff gets better and better, the validation, the share that I have to dedicate is going
Mm.
down relatively steadily. And
Mm.
it really gets back to your point of the almost the metaphysical question of how do you know when that you're right? How do you know how do you define what correct is?
Mm.
And once you get to a comfortable place on that and you can specify that clearly, that's gonna drop our involvement on the validation side. And it's interesting to me. I see these buckets as being filling and leaking in certain ways. I think with when you had just one model up on the screen at once, it got to a certain point. But now that agents are coming in, it's like the bucket is leaking and there's more that the human needs to do to get those agents spun up properly. And I think when
Yeah.
that happens, you're gonna start doing what you talked about, which is automating the creation of agents and the oversight of those. And then something else the bucket is going to start leaking in another way. So I really do. I think you're right. I think the more stuff evolves, the more it creates places where we need to be engaged. And I
Yeah.
think
Yeah. I mean,
the pattern of that is just changing over time.
yeah. I mean, it's just all playing out how we've always thought. Like, I've always thought for some time now that as an individual, your circle of skills can expand, right? You can become the AI, the full stack AI professional, right? So I think that's a given now. I think you can do that. With that, you still need to learn, you still need to build up the intuition to actually do that well, right? Like you need to be able to validate, you need to be able to use these new tools. But these new tools enable you to execute on so much more than you did historically.